I'm trying this. I'm trying this desktop version of TradingView. I just got a notice that this is they're putting out desktop version, and I'm just downloading it and see how that works. Apparently, this is supposed to be faster than the web version, but if it doesn't, do well, whatever, I'll just go back to my. Uh, I'm trying to say web version, yeah. So I'm just if it doesn't work well on the desktop, I'll go to the web version. But if it does work well, if it's good, then we'll just stick to that. Okay. So, like I said, they're coming out with this new version. Download it, see if it works, see if it's good, and then give them feedback. So why don't we get started? Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. Everything is good for me. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about quickly go over the positions that I'm in, and then we'll go from there. So Aussie Kiwi, first position still in. Second position, put in this position in London morning, 7 o'clock, I believe. Like the overall price action, we we know that we push out from this descending channel or falling wedge. We had this first impulse, first correction. This was the first entry. And then we had another impulse out from there. And this was a second continuation correction. And I was in profit, so I'm happy to take extra risk. My first trade is already in profit, so I won't be losing anything extra. And then I just set a entry order here and it got triggered at 7 o'clock GMT or so. And again, this is just a first kind of initial target, see what the price will do at this recent swing top area. And then if we can see price just kind of impulsively break through it and then form another correction, then likely to hold these two positions and even possible looking for more scaling. So I will make a video about scaling entries. This is to me a scaling entry. And of course, a lot of different people scale it differently or whatnot or whatever. I'll make a full video on how I personally do scaling and how to be careful on those positions. Okay, so that's Aussie Kiwi, dollar peso in this position. Talk about this in my Telegram since yesterday. Got in this position after the price break out of this kind of flag structure. And then it's kind of just consolidating here. Someone asked about entry positions. Well, I'm not seeing really any entry anymore. The correct entry was after price breakout of this channel. And now it's likely to be consolidating a little bit longer. Can it form larger correction like this and go? We see it looked like a correction that could have continued, but then we dropped down. And now we kind of just we'll just kind of monitor this and go from it. My stop is still at 1-to-1 loss. Didn't move it to break even or anything because I like the overall price action. I like how we're at the bottom of the overall structure, and then prices impulsively breaking up, and there's continuation corrections. So I like what I'm seeing here, and I'm just kind of expecting price to continue up more, breaking the previous high, and then more correction to go. Right, so that is dollar peso. That's what I want to talk about. I'm not in this position yet, but I will set a entry order here, entry order, stop order. I like this position a lot. I like the kind of reasonable kind of swing top, double top area. Price is moving up in a very corrective structure, and then later it's kind of price action. To me, this is a pretty textbook head and shoulder pattern. We have a correction, impulse, reverse impulse, potential continuation correction here on the right shoulder. And we'll just see if price has enough momentum to break out of this right shoulder. And then I'll get taken for this position. I'm happy to with a wider stop loss, 40 pips, usually wider than I would enter these yen pairs anyways. But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the risk reward. Fine just to trade through the lows of this structure here and 4.8 or 1. But ultimately, if I see this is a potential reversal structure for all this, and this is just kind of a neutral correctional structure, and we could be just reversing out and breaking out of this overall area, then there's going to be more opportunity, maybe even scaling entry, or maybe if we break out of this structure and then continuation to the downside. So that's lots of opportunity. So don't get trapped in the mindset of you have to maximize all the reward every trade, or with type stop loss and things like that. It's not necessary. Okay, so it's about your entry, it's about your management. It's about your risk management and trading plan if you follow that correctly. Okay. So that is it, guys. So that's all the three positions or two positions I'm in, and I have an entry order for CAD Yen. All right. So any question, let me know, guys. Nasdaq, yes, I'll go over this now. Scale in videos for sure. I'll look into that for sure. I'll look into that. Let's get it started. Let's jump to. Why don't we start with indices first again? Let's take a look at a few indices that's still on my watch. And again, not much has developed. Okay, not much has developed, and this is what I mentioned every week for the last few weeks already. That you just have to be patient, right? There's no entry here, guys. There's no entry for you to buy or sell, in my opinion. There's certainly no buy entry if you really take into consideration of what the higher time frame is doing. So personally, still just kind of waiting to see if this correctional structure finish. Can it just correct itself a little bit longer? And then I want to see that confirmation breakdown, right? Confirmation correction, and we can push the price lower. Because we understand higher time frame, we are in this kind of key area. We've seen the previous price action. We have prices reacting to the previous top or all-time top. And we're getting that kind of correctional structure that we always see before a potential sell-off in the market. We see that over and over again, especially in these indices. And we shouldn't, if we do enough back testing, if we see the market as what it is, you see these setups over and over, and you just have to keep doing a lot of analysis, a lot of back testing. So all these kind of just you program that into your head, right? You program that into your head, and then that's why you're able to execute it or take initiative on it if the right opportunity comes. Sometimes I get these messages where people saying they'll do their forecast, they'll find analysis, but at the end of the day, they didn't execute because either they were afraid that it won't work out. So again, psychological part of fear, right? But really, if you backtest enough, if you've seen the condition that happens in the market over and over again, then that builds confidence in yourself, and that builds confidence in your strategies. 500. So made this post London morning yesterday. Well, not yesterday, today. But overall price is just getting very, 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 very corrective. You can see that there's nothing changed again in price action. We're getting squeezed in this area, and then smaller ascending channel. We had an impulse down, and is this going to be a larger continuation structure? And we're just going to downside more this week. Okay, so keep an eye on this one. Very clean. It's because when you see prices getting squeezed and very corrective in the top of the overall correction, you're just kind of expecting some sort of sell-off that can happen in the market, right? We see this thing kind of set up over and over again. Like I said, you see the indices tends to move up when you see indices start moving up like this, and retail buyers are just trying to get in and get in and get in, and then eventually you're going to see that next kind of market crash, right? So nothing changed here in my opinion. As price correctly move up, there's no buy positions from our point of view, but you'll be looking for a reversal if the price condition gives you that green light, give you that confirmation, and then taking the trade short. Okay, that's going to give you the more risk reward in my opinion. And last one, Nasdaq. So some of you guys asked me about, is this a potential correction? And I mentioned, I think last video was that I want to see at least a few swing highs and a few swing lows, right? They have to be somewhat equally in range. But this kind of popped to the upside, but doesn't have to be so textbook. And I mentioned that a few times, is that the market is not perfect. It's not going to give you textbook opportunities all the time that you learn from, various lessons or you see online and whatnot. They're going to be not perfect, right? This is ascending channel, but it's not going to be like textbook where you usually see like this, right? But you understand the nature of the market. You understand that it's moving up correctly and it's moving up in an ascending kind of formation, and that's what you have to know, that this is a correction. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, is this going to be a correction here? Well, on the lower time frame, we break the previous recent top. Can this be like an M style pattern? Follow this structure, then yeah, this becomes a continuation structure for all this impulsive move from a week prior. Okay, so still keeping an eye on this one and go over a couple other indices that I'm looking out for. Singapore 30. This one is very clean, to be honest. I didn't take a look at this one a few days ago, but it caught my attention. I like how we have pretty much a double top here, and prices reacting to this top. We had this first impulse out from this correctional structure, but instead of a continuation structure or correction to push price even higher, we then have a lower time frame bearish impulse, a reversal impulse, and potentially we're forming a correction to push the price down. And judging by the overall price condition and price action is very good because you understand that we just had impulsive move down from the market, and this overall is just can be a larger continuation structure to correct this overall bearish move, and we can get another down move from the market. So that's Singapore 30, and these few other European ones I always go over, they're still at that area. Okay, so keep an eye on these ones. They may be shaping up very soon. Okay, they're stalling, they're correcting because they are getting enough momentum. We're going to likely to see the next strong bearish sell-off from these ones. All right, so that is all the indices I'm looking at. Any question, let me know. I'm gonna jump to commodities really quick, just a couple ones I want to go over. Hello, hello. Singapore 30, on which broker can I find this? Check your FX broker. You can find it on Wanda, right? Or you can just pretty much type in. I have it on Wanda, but I don't know which other broker because obviously we only get to see the charts from the charts that brokers that work in TradingView. But in my opinion, a lot of brokers should offer that. Okay, should offer a Singapore 30, just like most of these indices I just pointed out. Most FX broker will likely to offer most of these. Okay, certainly the US indices for sure. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, let's continue. Natural gas. So I talk about natural gas. Remember, weekly outlook. Because price is getting to this area now. We see the price in these overall. So let me get the pen. So we see the price is kind of correction before we see the up move, right? And I mentioned when price is at this area, a move down to the bottom would be more ideal. It looks like it's going to complete the structure here. We push down here and then we push up, right? And looking for a continuation up here would be very nice. So still very clean on this one. I'm keeping an eye on this because I do like the upside potential. Similar correction that we have seen, right? It's just a slightly variant of it, but we break the previous low. I mentioned I'd like to see price pace down, and now we're pushing up again, which is good. So correction here would be ideal, or a correction breakout from this larger correction, and a continuation to push up more is also ideal. Soybean, I think I mentioned this in the weekly outlook as well. Liking the overall price action, we are at previous kind of daily double top area, and it's a pretty swinging area, right? I mentioned this. This is more very clean kind of double top formation that we see from the price. And overall, you have this overall kind of scoop, all this empty area where price is likely to fail again. Okay, so looking at here on the lower time frame, we had this reversal structure, we had this first bearish push down, and is this going to be a continuation correction? And then we're going to see more downside from the price. Very patiently waiting for this to develop. I do see lots of risk reward in this one, but because the daily push up so high and so aggressively, that's always something that I keep an eye on. And you don't, as people always say, you don't want to catch a falling knife, right? So same thing, you don't want to catch a you know, no correctional structure, but price can just continue up where your short may not live that long, right? It may just kind of correct itself down like this and then forming a deeper correction and then continue up more. So that's kind of one way of seeing this. But I'll keep it on this. If I like lower time frame, I like what I'm seeing, then I will be more involved with this one. Let's talk about gold. I think some of you guys asked me about gold in my Telegram. So what I see on gold, remember when price was forming this head and shoulder and I talked about this is not likely to be all the correction till we're going to see the downside. I just don't expect this kind of a small correctional price action is going to correct all this move. As how I would manage a larger correction like this, right? This is how price has been moving down from all these impulsive move, right? Impulsive move, correctional phrase, impulsive move, correctional phrase, impulsive move. Are we getting a larger correctional phrase? That's kind of why I'm just not going to jump into gold. Even these kind of head and shoulder, I see a lot of people talk about, oh, there's a head and shoulder likely to go down. No, because this is not big of a correction to correct all this move. And that's why a bigger correction, a bigger structure, a bigger correctional phrase or a period is likely to happen before the next down move if we're seeing it from a downside perspective. And there's really no up move in my opinion. What you see in this area, I don't see up move here. I do see something like this correctively itself a little bit. Just don't get trapped in this consolidation period, right? Mentioned this a million times. Once the price start getting into its correctional period, there's don't get trapped in this area because your entries were usually short-lived. You're not likely to fully expand your potential reward on the positions, and you're likely to just get tagged out for a break even or at a loss, right? So that's gold, guys. One last one to go over is silver. Silver, kind of similar price action. I mentioned this in the weekly outlook as well, right? The head and shoulder is not, to me, is not enough because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, middle of this overall correction. The ideal is to wait for price to come to the top here, right? And that's actually going to complete this overall structure, and potentially we are going to see the reversal, right? That's just going to be a better entry, a better risk reward entry, right? And I talk about sometimes is not that a position that someone is seeing here won't work out in another scenario, another situation. This right shoulder would have worked out, but will you take these positions over and over again? Will you do that in your plan all the time, or is that just more of an emotional trade because people are talking about it and then you don't want to miss the trade, fear of missing out, right? So you have to have a plan and follow the plan accordingly. And sometimes the plan won't work out because the price start dropping, but you got to think of it more as a long-term sustainable scale. Are you going to be trading for the next 30, 40 years? Then certainly you need to be sustainable, right? You're not, right? And that's why a lot of newer traders who get into the market thinking that's what they're going to do, and then they fail very bad, miserably in the first few months, which everyone does, right? And then they give up on trading, and then they forget that it takes years to be successful in anything, right? All right, so that is all the commodities I'm looking at. Okay, I just have a few, just a couple of crypto I'll go over, and then we'll jump into currency right away after that. All right, guys. So any question, like I said, any me know? U.S. oil, yeah. U.S. oil, not really interesting. I don't know what you're seeing buy or sell, but okay, so if it's going to correct itself more and then push down from the price, then I would be interested to see what will happen. I'm really not interested in the buy. I don't see the buy at this point. I see how we had this push up, and then is this a correctional structure? It's not very clean. We push up, but it's not very aggressively. You can see that there's a potential structure that's forming here. Okay, we just break the previous high, but we break the previous high like this. We broke it, but we broke it potentially forming a reversal structure here that can see the price push down. Okay, so not interesting to buy in my opinion. I'm just looking for a potential sell if the correction develops a little bit longer. Okay, so that is oil. Quickly jumping to crypto. Not much on crypto to be honest. And I want to talk about Bitcoin really a little bit because as this is continuing to develop, the more to me is not going to just going to take off. And I mentioned when price gets to this area that I reached pretty much the previous all-time top. Okay, you can see price is just stalling here because price is catching a lot of buyers and selling in this area. Likely a lot of buyers, in my opinion, a lot of buyers who hope Bitcoin will go to the moon. Again, I talk about this is that, of course, in the long term, I do very see Bitcoin as promising for the buy. I think we all do. But is this the right time to jump in? Personally, I don't think so, because you have to understand price already pushed so much in the upside. Correction here in the making. It's making more as a reversal kind of structure that we can just expand into a larger structure before we take off. And seeing what has the price done in the previous past, you just have to understand this is how the price moved. We had this massive push to the upside, and then a period of long consolidation happens before the next upside, and then we just have a sizable correction here, and then a massive push to the upside again. It's just unlikely for price to continue going up in this without at least some sort of correctional phrase before it continues. Right? Yeah, I just have to see it from that how the price works. Okay, we all hope and want Bitcoin to continue higher, but you want to get in at a reasonable area at a reasonable time so you don't get stopped out of all this spread and all this volatility, right? When the Bitcoin reached 20,000 or whatever, or a previous top, see all these moves that just kind of drop down. That just takes out a lot of traders, right? It takes out a lot of traders with their tight stop loss, and then they're just accumulating momentum here and here and here. And then eventually we're just going to see that momentum break down or break up. And because where the price condition is, I'm just having more of a bias for that potential sell opportunity. Okay, let's talk about this one, Link, because Link is looking like it can continue lower. Okay, because we had this kind of reversal impulse from this bullish impulse, and then a larger kind of a parallel channel continuation. We had a few of these ascending kind of structures as well, and then price is pushing down. Price is pushing down to the bottom here, and I'm kind of seeing, can we form some sort of continuation here, and then price can continue lower and lower and lower. Okay, these are the only two really I'm looking at. Really nothing else I'm looking at in terms of crypto. Any question, let me know, guys. But like I said, not interesting in the buy here. Okay. Yeah, I'll go over those. So that's crypto, guys. Why don't we jump into currency now? About a bunch of currency ones to go over. So let's get started. Any question, guys? Just let me know, and then we'll just kind of continue as that. So let's talk about Aussie dollar. So what's Aussie dollar doing here? Let's take a look at the lower time frame. See, price was forming this kind of a potential reversal structure or potential M style pattern. We had this kind of bearish push down, and then there's this mini correction here. And then you can see this happened during the Asia sessions. We pushed down or kind of a pullback channel before we downside. Who knows? We'll just keep an eye on this. There's this New York session now, right? So, just beginning of New York session, an hour or so. So can we get more correction here? And are we going to see the downside from this point forward? Okay, I'm not too interested in the upside, and I know some people may or may point out that Aussies continue going higher and higher. Yes, but and my question always is, was there entry for your strategy or style? Was there opportunity, or you're just looking at the price happen and then afterwards said I should have get in the buy? Because that's a really bad mindset when it comes to trading. Is you can't be result oriented. You cannot be result oriented, meaning that you cannot see the result happen and say, why I didn't get in that trade? Why didn't my strategy capture that? Okay, you got to think of it as what it is. It's because trading is all, the market can do whatever it wants to do. There's no strategies or style that out there that will catch every single buy movement or every single sell movement. And the moment you try to combine more and more strategies into your head, it will just create the heck out of you, right? If you're not going anywhere with that kind of thought process. Okay, so you need to have an open minded when you come to the market. You need to have you make analysis and you want to have a bias, right? Because you either have to buy or sell. There's no other option. So your analysis has to lead eventually to a direction of what you're looking at, right? And ability afterwards, because there's no right and wrong. When you enter a trade, when you exit a trade, it's all based on probability anyways. And it's a fine line between the both, because you're trying to minimize your loss and maximize your reward. All right. So that's why I see Aussie dollar kind of looking to see what it will do in this area, even if it just continue up to this top, to the previous top. And then I'm looking at, is this going to be an expanding structure reversal? So anything can happen moving forward in this area. So that's Aussie dollar. I'll talk about Kiwi dollar really quick, because Kiwi dollar and I get this message. I see that in the Telegram as well. Um, People are saying that when Kiwi dollar is moving up, people getting smashed or getting trapped in this. Well, yeah, in a way, but are looking at it now, when you found looking at it from a price action structure point of view, is, was there enough entry for you to justify the entry, or were we just rushing it to get into hopefully catching the sell, right? And that's two things different. Is, can we admit that did we purposely try to enter some sell positions during this area and get trapped, and then just blame it on the market or blame it on the strategies, or did we enter and then we look back at our trades and we said, oh yeah, that shouldn't be an entry, that was more of me being emotional or fear of missing out, trying to justify positions for the sell, and then it didn't work out, right? So do your journal really, because it's going to help you to really shape up your mindset on these kind of topic. Because looking back at the trades you have taken and understanding your mindset or thought process at the time will help you to be a better trader, guys. Okay, so what I see on Kiwi dollar, again, nothing changes. What is price going to do? Well, it looks like it's forming a potential double top here on the mini double top. Can we get a confirmation breakout? And I've been saying this a lot. Can we get a confirmation correction? And then can we see the more bearish downside? In my personal opinion, no, because we're just seeing this overall still structure. We can't just say like, oh, price is moving up, there's certainly supposed to be buy. But how do we justify a buy position, right? We have to, based on your strategy, based on style, do you see a buy strategy there? If not, then are you being result oriented, right? Does it make sense to see something happen and say, I should have gotten that beforehand? Okay, then we should have buy Bitcoin when it's only $10, right? That's kind of the same thing that the mindset. Or you might have bet Bitcoin, but did you hold Bitcoin till the price it is today? Not likely as well, right? So can't be result oriented, guys. Otherwise, trading or investment, or it's just going to be so dreadful. You're just going to be a roller coaster ride forever in your life. All right. So potentially we're in this kind of expanding structure, and this could be a continuation structure. Talk about this in the weekly outlook. We break up to out, so this is an impulse now, and we broke the previous high, so we have to see it as what it is. We broke up, and then potentially is this going to be a continuation correction to push the price up? As of now, I'm not 100% seeing that, because this can still be a reversal structure. We can just push up, push up, push up, and then structure becomes an expanding structure, and then we start seeing reversal from that point. Okay, that's also one possibility, because correction is not finished, right? We draw it as is now, but doesn't mean this has to be the correction to kick off, because structurally, like I said, ever evolving, ever changing. So you just have to take it as what it is and reach at any given time. So to me right now, just waiting to see what will happen here. Really no buy or sell in my opinion. Um, you want to see, if you're looking for a sell, then you want to see this as some sort of ascending structure. We push down, we push out of the structure, and continuation to push the price lower. That's what you want to see in this kind of area. But if you're looking for a buy, then if you see it as this is a continuation, still, is this enough kind of a price movement, price consolidation to push the price higher already at this spot, or give it a little bit more move and then take off from there? All right. So that's Euro dollar. Not my favorite dollar ones. I'll go over other ones as well. Dollar CAD, to take a look at this one. Because we break out of this structure, this was the parallel channel structure, and I think a lot of us were looking at a potential buy opportunity here as well. Just didn't shape up. You see, it had a potential to form a mini double top, descending channel. It had a potential to break out of that channel, and then followed by continuation to go higher. Didn't give us that price action, and that's why there's no entries and there's no trade, right? And this is why when you do forecasting, um, when you do your analysis, you need to forecast the market. You need to write down or picture down what things you want to see from the market in order for you to look for that potential entry. Should we always wait for the three touch? No, that's not necessarily. No, necessarily, because a lot of structures are just two touches as well, right? Minimum two touches of a structure, right? Three is good, four is good, right? But doesn't need all that, right? Of course, as more touches happen and as the more touches become, excuse me, guys, as the structure becomes deeper and wider, the more touches are obviously good, but it doesn't have to. Okay, so that is dollar CAD here. Waiting to see what this kind of channel will do. I mentioned that because we broke down from here and you got kind of continuation correction to push the price lower. Okay, but right now it looking like it's more of a descending channel. Can this correct a little bit more? And then we kind of see upside potential from this point forward. That's how the price looks like right now in this kind of correction. But we can easily just see price move up and then just forming a larger continuation correction, something like this to correct all this move, and then we're just going downside afterwards more. Okay, so keeping an eye on this one because we're at the bottom, right? At the bottom of overall structure, dollar CAD has been dropping a lot. CAD has been gaining a lot of strength um, in versus of the dollar. So we'll see what happens in this key area here because if this was an impulse and this is a continuation correction we pushed down already, more lower time frame correction will give us a little bit more edge or a little bit more confirmation that we're coming down to the previous low to here. Okay, so that is dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss, someone asked about dollar Swiss as well. Higher time frame, you can see that we're at the previous swing low already. We had this correction here, we pushed the price lower, and what does the lower time frame tells us? Again, in this kind of descending channel structure and correcting itself down. So same approach as dollar CAD and other few dollars is can we get that confirmation breakout from there and then confirmation correction to push the price, right? That's always going to be confirmation number one, and this is going to be confirmation number two to continue the price higher, right? And if it's going to drop lower, then simply no trade for me, right? Or no entry or no, I'll just leave it on the sideline for now, right? Dollar peso, I believe, right in the beginning, but liking the overall structure, we had this, parallel channel structure, very similar like dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, and dollar ZAR, dollar Singapore dollar. You're all in this kind of overall higher time frame structure. All of them kind of pushed down out of that structure, but then there was no continuation. Instead, to me, this is a reversal structure, reversal channel. We had this first lower time frame push up, and that was my entry there. And then just to see if price we're going to continue at least to the previous top here. And if we just continue up aggressively, forming continuation, then hold the trade to the next previous top. CAD Yen, I will go over as well. So, okay, so that is dollar peso, dollar Singapore dollar. Again, still just waiting for this, still waiting for this descending channel to complete, right? Very similar structure. We break the previous low. This was the previous swing low before the COVID, and then this is a descending channel structure. We're just very corrective price action, and just waiting for the strong momentum to come into the market. Right? You don't want to get trapped in this consolidation because this can just go on indefinitely for a little bit and then strong push to the upside and followed by correction to go. Okay, so don't get trapped in the consolidation period. You often see those traders who get sucked into the consolidation period, lose a bunch of trade, and then lose a bunch of positions. They want to give up, they want to take a break, and then the moment they come back to the phone, price is already up there because they trap the market, take all these positions out, and then once all the orders are done, and then they're going to see that strong momentum pop to the upside. Dollars are um, again descending channel, right? We broke down from this higher time frame kind of continuation. We pushed down already, and then descending channel here. I'm just waiting for this correction to complete, and then push off from the structure here, and then continuation to go. Okay, and that's kind of how I want to expect this coming days or week. Right. So these are all the dollar ones I'm looking at, especially these well, I want to say exotic dollar pairs. They're looking very clean, to be honest, and usually they're not that comes to these dollar pairs, but they are looking very clean in my opinion from a price action point of view. So certainly likely to want to capitalize on more of these and waiting for a little bit more development. Okay. I already went over dollar Swiss and gold. Okay, so you're gonna have to check back after gold. Really not much, not really interesting. Anything gold. Waiting for a larger structure to form. Not not really interesting at all because there's not much here. I don't like. There's no head and shoulder here in my opinion either. So I'm not looking for anything at this point. Just waiting for this descending channel to complete. So let's move on. Let's move on to Aussiecad. So Aussiecad was, now that we forming more of an expanding structure now, and I'm gonna go into detail, or I'm gonna make video about this in the near future as well. Some of you guys asked me about these expanding structures that I usually don't talk about. It's not that I don't usually talk about it, it's because I'm doing a lot of work on it to make sure that I gather enough information to explain this correctly. So I will make a video on kind of how I see these, what I call expanding structures. Okay, so expanding structures like these. So anyways, this to me is expanding structures, and in nature, you see expanding structure when it's at the top of the overall price conditions that we likely to see every result. Okay, so we have few swing highs and few swings lows, and as the structure gets wider and wider, the likely of this swinging move, you can see that it's very swingy, can happen. Okay, so that's kind of how I see this right now on Aussiecad. We have a potential mini double top, and then price actually had this first impulsive move breakdown. So is this going to be a continuation here to continue the price lower? Certainly could be a possibility. So I'll keep an eye on this in the moving time. And jumping to Aussie Swiss, again, seeing the same thing as well, right? Kind of expanding structure. And again, top of the overall price condition, we're at the overall top of where we are right now. And this can be that double top edge interrelated with each other and combining confluence and things like that. So ultimately what I see is if this is region double top is going to hold, and if there's some sort of continuation, and we could potentially just break out of this expanding structure so it becomes a reversal structure, and we push the price down lower after that. So that is Aussie Swiss, Aussie Kiwi. Quickly go over this one as well. So I'm in Aussie Kiwi 2 positions now. Very clean. I'm just, even just the first target here, pretty much massive profit here already. At the end of the day, if I mentioned these in my trade recap videos, is that if all this is the correctional phrase for overall this bullish movement, we can just jump into the next bullish opportunities, and that's why I'm willing to scale in these positions. I'm willing to jump into this position because it's really clean. You see these continuation corrections, right? And then when you look back at them as the price continue to take off, you just understand that nature of how. And because we're at the bottom, we're at the bottom of the overall price condition before the potential upside. I'm willing to scale into entry here because I can see the risk reward, I can see the potential that the price can offer, right? And it's fine entry as long as your first entry is already in profit or whatever. And like I said, I'll make a quick video. I'll make a video on scaling entries. I'll make an in-depth look into scaling because it's very important. I feel a lot of young traders or new traders, they don't scale properly. They don't understand scaling. They just think it's just adding more account, to be honest. When you're scaling the positions, you're just scaling way too many positions. Sure, they'll work out. Your account will, quadruple fly 4 times, right? Let's say you enter 4 positions of the same. If the positions is going in your favor, then of course your profit is magnified. But if it goes against you, then your losses are also magnified as well, right? So you just have to understand the concept of risk management and trading plan. Is your plan of scaling sustainable for the long run or for a larger account? Right? It's certainly when you're trading $100 account or $1,000 account, sure you can take a multiple positions. It's not that much, right? But what if you're adding a zero or 2 more zeros behind that account number? Are you still going to trade that way? Like I said, continuation correction here looks very clean for at least push to the upside here. And just waiting to see if we're going to jump into the next bullish trend. But I do expect some sort of larger correction if it's going to do that though. So I'll decide if I'm going to hold these positions or I'm going to take profit and then get back into the market and with a newer position. So that's Aussie Kiwi. Euro pound, I will go to that. Okay, I'm just going through in order. Okay, you can see my watch this euro pound is coming up here. Okay, so Aussie yen, someone brought my attention to Aussie yen. Trading view desktop, by the way, is fast for those of you guys who are wondering. I do think they're faster than the web version. Can you also scale in at the top? What do you mean by top? Like top when you're like top like here? Personally, I wouldn't scale in when I would only want to scale in at the beginning initial run. You mean break out this, right? Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. If we continue break out, but I want to see larger continuation. I don't want to see smaller continuation anymore. If I'm going to see price break out of this overall structure, then larger continuation is better. So waiting for a larger structure, something like this or something like this, is more ideal because it is a continuation correction. You want to judge as how much price has already moved in order for you to kind of see what the next continuation correction will be. So Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, let's talk about this. Someone brought my attention to this or asking my take on it. Well, potentially you can have a double top here, okay? But what is the lower time frame doing? Are we getting any kind of bearish momentum? Well, a little bit choppy here. A little bit choppy here in my opinion. No time on entry. We kind of push down here, but this can be a continuation like this still, right? So don't discount that either, right? So not much here is shaping up in my opinion. The only thing that's working in our favor is a double top and potentially expanding structure that we're in here on the 4-hour chart, a higher time frame, and it is somewhat corrective here. That's what I'm seeing here, but not much here. Okay, there's better yen pairs in my opinion. CAD yen, which is the better one. I'm gonna go over. So CAD yen. A few of you guys asked about CAD yen. I do like CAD yen. I do think it's my favorite one. I do have an order here. So prices this double top. We have this correctional structure moving the price up. Very corrective phrase. And lower time frame here. Head and shoulder, very clean head and shoulder pattern. Right shoulder here is developing. It's very, we have these few swing highs and few swing lows. this is an impulsive move on the lower time frame, and this can be that continuation, and we can push the price down lower. So I just set my entry here, easy 40 pip, a little bit larger stop loss, but I'm fine with that. Larger stop loss, about 4.21 or so to the bottom here. Just pretty clean. I would take these kind of positions any kind of days. So liking the overall higher time frame, liking the overall lower time frame movement, liking all these price action and structure. That's going to add up to more confluence with me for this potential sell down to the lows. Okay, so that is CAD Yen, guys. So let's move on. That's the only yen pairs that I'm really interesting or wanna get in. Swiss yen. Swiss yen mentioned about this is very similar. I like how we have this smaller ascending channel pushing up. We're at the top of this, expanding structure. What I talk about. We had this first lower time frame push down, and then this is a continuation correction. We're pretty much forming another expanding kind of structure here. Okay, and a little bit of swinging price action, but we're pushing down and we're consolidating here, which is good. Can we get a little bit of consolidation here to continue the price? Okay, I do like Swiss yen here over Euro yen though. Some of you guys talk about Euro yen. I don't like Euro yen as good as Swiss yen is because I didn't see Euro yen hit the previous top. If had it hit previous top and then dropped, then yeah, that would look a lot better. But this is just a fine line between filtering positions. This is kind of how about when you look at all the Aussie pairs are good, let's say all the Aussie pairs for a sell as example, you're not going to take all the Aussie positions, right? You're going to filter them. You're going to take the best positions available so that it'll give you, so you don't, again, risk too much on the same pair or the same currency. You want to mitigate the risk, right? So that is Euro yen for my personal take. I would prefer Swiss yen because the price action is slightly better in my opinion. So I'll talk about pound yen. I'm not really interested in any of the pound pairs, I'll be honest. After all this kind of price action, I talk about this in the weekly outlook, is that as an impulsive phrase anymore. I see this as a more of a corrective phrase, and I don't like to be trading in the corrective phrase. Like I mentioned many times, I want to be in the impulsive phrase. I don't want to trade in the consolidation phrase. So all this kind of price action to me is not my favorite. So I'm not even going to speculate here for buy or sell. I did mention in the weekly outlook is that if price continue to break out here and then a larger sizable deeper correction here, then I would consider something like this, similar like pound dollar. Yeah, I'm not going to consider any kind of possible entries here anymore. I just want to see a little bit more breakout from the price. I don't want to get trapped in this kind of price action, especially all this Brexit talk that's going on. Just there's better place for you to put your capital, put your money is instead of this kind of price conditions. Someone asked about Euro Aussie and Euro Pound and all that. So Euro Aussie, very similar like Aussie Swiss but reverse. So are we seeing an expanding structure at the bottom of the price action, right? So mention this is key here is that we see this as a continuation structure and this very likely to continue lower. But what is the lower time frame telling you? Well, is this a double bottom here that we're seeing? Prices in this expanding structure. We have a few swing highs and a few swing lows. And is this enough to justify a trade? No, to me is not. It's not too much. But lower time frame, what is it telling us? Can we get a little bit more push up? Can we get a little bit sizable continuation? That's going to give you a little bit more clue, a little bit more confluence that this is an expanding structure. This is a reversal structure. And we have this double bottom working for us, and can we just see price continue to break out and continue up to the previous top? Okay, so that's kind of how I see right now, but it's not too clear, right? So if it's not too clear, don't guess or don't try to jump into a trade because someone you saw someone else talk about it and it looking like it can drop. Okay, so don't fall into this trap where you're kind of second guessing buy or sell. If you don't have a clear bias, then don't trade, right? It's very clear. It's that simple, right? Euro pound, so same kind of feedback like all the pound pairs. I'm not really interesting after I see all this kind of price action. I mentioned this when I post this trade is that when I see this breakout, when I see this continuation correction, I was really interesting for the buy, right? You can see that this is not very impulsive compared to this, okay? And this is clearly an impulsive phrase after this correction, whereas this is a bunch of erratic movement after this correction. And that's why when I understand that we're not in a impulsive phrase, when I understand that this is more of a correctional period and I don't want to get stuck into trade like this, okay? Even if it just continue move up, I'm fine with no trade. I'm happy to be out, and I will be looking to see what the overall price will do in here for the long-term sell. Okay, and this is how I see it. That don't need to fall into the fact that you need to jump into every position or every buy or every sell. Okay, if it happened without you, that's totally fine, right? And just looking for the next opportunity and then the next potential outcome and try to capitalize that one. Okay? So no position for me, no really entry for me or anything erratic to me. Um, it was very clean when we push up followed by a correction. Even this push up followed by this correction was somewhat clean, and then all this happened during that weekend news, right? So that's why I see a euro pound. Let's go over euro kiwi. Euro kiwi still very interesting, very similar like Kiwi Swiss. I would be interesting in this. Have it develop a little bit more. So we know you guys, if you guys recall, I was in two positions in Euro Kiwi, right? One position got break even here, and the other one secured about 2% as price dropped down to this. And as the structure form, and I see this kind of reversal channel, and then we probably prospect the upside, then yeah, this becomes a larger correction now. As we can see, descending channel, first impulsive move, first correctional structure, good. So very good that we're seeing this kind of from the price action. We popped the upside. This is a little bit choppy here, but I want to see a little bit more confirmation. Can we just kind of break out from there and then continue this point forward? Would like to see that before I consider any possible entries here. Ultimately, on the higher time frame wise, very similar like Euro Aussie because we're at the bottom of the structure and we actually see a potential reversal, different kind of price action, and continuation correction after the reversal move. So very very likely that we can just get more price action to push up. Okay. Let's talk about Kiwi CAD. So Kiwi CAD, again, recall this was the position I got in. I got about 3.5 to 1 or so. Didn't want to hold through another pullback. But now the price is looking really, really clean. We formed this kind of a continuation structure. We had clear few swing highs and few swing lows. We had this ascending channel. We popped to the downside. This was another post I made. So there was potential entry here. I mentioned once we broke out this, if there was a potential entry here, this would be the first entry, and the second entry would be waiting for price to kind of break out from here and then continue lower. This is something that I will be waiting for. That's something more fits my plan. This is different now because we form a continuation structure for this move, and we're likely to break past the previous low and then continue lower. Okay, so this is certainly something that I will keep an eye on. I do like the overall price condition of this. Looks very clean for a potential down move further. Okay. And last one I want to go over is Kiwi Swiss. So Kiwi Swiss invert of Euro Kiwi. And we see these kind of expanding structure again. So I will make a video on this, but expanding structure when it's at the top of the overall price action is likely to be a reversal. But in this case, when it happens after a impulse, it's likely to be a continuation. Okay, I will make a video on this in the near future, but just letting you guys know, I have been obviously backtesting and trying and just doing a little bit more in-depth look on it, so that when I make a video on it, it will be a little bit more clear to explain. So Kiwi Swiss, expanding structure here, potential continuation. We're dropping down now. Let's see if we can pass this previous low and then continue lower from this point forward. Okay, higher time frame wise, we're just at the top once again, and we'd love to see these kind of structure at the top of the overall price condition in order for it to maximize the potential reversal. All right, so that is Kiwi Swiss. I'm not really going to go over any pound pairs, just the same reason as I mentioned any of the other pound pairs that I was talking about. I'm not seeing too much at this moment for them. Okay, so CAD Yen almost going to about 10 pips or so. Okay, so waiting for this one. I still have entry order here. Aussie Swiss still in this one's looking really clean. Euro peso, dollar peso, euro peso, dollar peso. So it's dropping down. No biggie. We're just gonna hold it and see what happens. Happy to take a loss here, to be honest. We'll see what happens in the upcoming day. Looks like a little bit strong momentum pushing down, but who knows what the price will do? Is this going to form another structure here to continue the up, or is it going to just consolidate here a little bit longer before resuming the trend? So this is why I made the video. If you guys recall, don't get emotional. Don't check your phone. Don't check your phone or your broker every minute to look at your positions. It's not going to help. It's not going to help your trade to go to its target or anything. So why don't get emotional when it comes to that. Just look at your charts if you're going to do chart work, but don't look at your broker as a dollar amount because that's how you get very emotional and you're going to go through a lot of roller coaster swinging right. So, any question, guys? Any questions or comments? Happy to answer a few questions now. Any questions or comment? Let me know here, and I'll take a look. Would love a video on scale index. Appreciate all your video. A lot has helped me. Well, yeah, I will certainly make. I already have a note for that, just so you guys know. I have an agenda of all the videos I'm going to make and things like that. So I have a bunch, of course. But of course, if you guys have any videos or any things you guys want to see, just let me know, and then I'll look into that. I'll put that in my book. So yeah, make money work for you. Don't try to work the trade. Exactly. Talk about gold already. I think I mentioned that when you're on as well. Didn't you ask that earlier? Yeah, you asked about gold already. I'm not interested in gold. I'm not seeing any entry or buy or anything like that. There's no entry for me, so I don't want to get stuck into anything like that. New to this, where do I start? Start looking at some trading view posts, right? Start going through some analysis on trading view. Start watching YouTube videos on how to trade, really. What is my current trade? Aussie Kiwi dollar peso and looking for a CAD yen. Say more about impulse move and how it's spotted and happens. Check out all my trading view posts, all my video posts. Go on my channel and type video on the search box. You'll see all my educational video content that goes over more in depth on price action, impulse correction, and all that. How will you choose time frame for entry? Lower time frame. Look for lower time frame possible entries. Check out my video on multi-time frame analysis. We talk about that you have a bias on the higher time frame and you go down to the lower time frame for possible entry because it's going to give you the maximized risk reward. Okay, you're not going to enter on a higher time frame as a scale and as a swing trade with a really wide stop loss. Of course that's fine, but it's days and weeks to reach, right? And your profit is limited by the wide stop loss. What about Aussie CAD? Looks like CAD Swiss, CAD Yen. No, it does not. Aussie CAD has more of an expanding structure that I'm looking at. Okay, whereas CAD Yen it is a little bit more neutral. It will have this ascending channel instead of that expanding channel that I just drew out. Good question. When scaling in on Aussie Kiwi, could you also put your entry on top of the flag, or is it better to scale on the bottom of the flag? Both. There's no right and wrong in that sense. I in my video of entries, I went over both plus another entry like that. So check out my video on entries and things like that. Let me actually find it for you. Give me a second. This video I just posted on YouTube is going to explain all the entries and stuff like that. Okay. Just want to say thank you. No problem. Thank you, Jamoy. Hope I pronounced that right. Is it too late to enter Aussie Kiwi? I mean, if you want to put a breakout entry like this, I think that's fine. Um, I actually think that's totally fine if that's in your plan to do so. Okay, but of course, you should have a plan, right? You should have a plan of how your stop loss should be, what your target price would be, take profit, I mean, and then what is your risk management? Okay, so don't jump in because I'm in the trade, right? Make sure you have a plan yourself, and this is what I always want to teach to my people is don't just simply follow others. You're gonna have a plan yourself, so when the trade doesn't work for you or work with you, you don't have emotional thoughts. You don't blame others. You don't blame, external things, right? You need to be when you enter a trade, you need to accept the risk and accept what it is. Hi, do you do this analysis live every day? I try to do it 3 times a week. Silver, one, two, three, four. I try to do that 3 times a week. I would do a weekly outlook, and then I will do 2 daily outlooks in throughout the week. But other times I would just update them on my Telegram and things like that. Okay, if you're interested in all my updates and notifications, just join my Telegram. So any other question, guys? Yeah, I like these questions, by the way. I like the inquiries. I'm happy to answer them. Happy to happy to teach you guys anything I know. As you guys know, I have all this. I have all these educational stuff on educational posts on TradingView and YouTube. Go on my go on my Telegram to search for all the updates and notifications on all my videos and live streams and things like that. YouTube is all my upload things. Okay, so go on YouTube for all the educational things that I break it down into categories. Easier to read that way. Or on TradingView, just on TradingView, you see all my posts here. Okay. What lower time frame you usually use? To be honest, anything under 4 hour is considered lower time frame. So let's say in this Aussie Kiwi example, you see on the top here, I break it down into different time frames, right? To me, anything under 4 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour, sorry, 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and five. That's how I use the time frames breakdown. Okay. Which time frames must I use for? No, not something you must use. It's just kind of how you trade, right? And for me, it's because I focus on multi-time frame analysis. I know I'm doing things from a top-down approach, so my analysis was always going to start from the higher time, so monthly, right? And then I'll go down to the lower time frame for possible entries and possible confirmation, right? You want all the time frames to give you similar bias that's going to give you confluence for your trade. A lot of people jump into, the 5-minute charts or the 1-minute chart or the 15-minute charts. They see a buy or they see a sell, but they're forgetting about the overall higher time frame, because the higher time frame is going to weight heavier. Right? The higher time frame is going to give you more confluence. Sure, you're going to see lower time frame corrections everywhere, right? You're going to see them everywhere. It doesn't matter which time frame, which market, which instrument. You're going to see them, but do they going to work out with the higher time frame, right? And it's something you have to consider is you got to add all the pieces up together to give you a better bias to your trade, right? You zoom out on the charts while we zooming. I think that makes us not see clearly. Yeah, I mean, this is why you need to, have a top-down approach, right? We need to have a top-down approach because the market, you know, looking at it as what it is, it's going to tell you from a higher time frame approach going down to the lower time frame. It's going to just give you much more clarity, right? Don't focus on the lower time frame too much for something. Everything has to make sense from top down approach, right? You gotta go from weekly, daily, 4 hour, 2 hour, just going down like that, and just adding up more confluence as you go. I'll answer this question afterwards, RK. Okay. Any other question, guys? How do you color code the indices? You mean the flag? You mean like you mean these flags that I'm seeing on the left? You just click them, RK. You just click on this. You see where I'm looking at? You see where my mouse is in terms of the cursor? You just click here and then you see how there's color here. Oh, what did I mean to you? Here. This is what I mean to them. Really, RK, you do whatever you want with the flags, right? Whatever color, it doesn't have to follow me, right? 'Cause you go by what different colors. You just do it in yourself or you write it down. So you just follow that. Am I still waiting for bearish impulse? Yeah, I am still waiting for bearish impulse on Nasdaq. Looking like it could have some. How to draw what you have on the screen? Is it Fibonacci retracement? No, I don't use that. I don't use that. I know what that is, but I don't use that. Nothing. I don't really use anything on the chart. If you notice, I just use trend lines. That's all I use. I really don't use anything else. Because that's really all I need, guys. I don't need the indicators. I don't need the support resistance. I don't need too much other things. I'm just looking at as raw price action conditions because it's the most clearest way to analyze the market. Uh, red, yellow, etc. That's a good point. I can look into that. I do like these feedback, by the way, Jeremy Jamoy. Sorry if I pronounced that right. Um, I do like these feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jojo. No problem, man. Do you trade counter trend as well as trend? What do you mean? I think what you mean is if price is going up and do you try to sell? No, no, I don't really do that. If this is what you mean, I don't do that. How to draw red and green one? What do you mean red and green one? Which chart did I have red and green? You mean the box? Like this is not Fibonacci. This is just this long and short position box. This is just how I calculate my entry, so I know how much money or how much profit or loss I'm currently in. Not Fibonacci or anything. These are just toolbox for you to calculate the entries, right? What do you mean by risk entries? Where in Acura? Is this some other strategies? Because I don't know what you mean. Where can I find it? Here. Go to drawing panel. Drawing panel, and then here. You see this? Prediction and measuring tools, long, short positions. Okay. So yeah, any other question, guys? Any other question? I liking these questions. I like the feedback as well. I like any suggestions and things like that for moving forward. Let me know as well. Let me know in my Telegram. Let me know in other places. I do like the inquiries from everyone. Okay. Um, well, if it's a double top after a bullish impulse, then it becomes bearish price action, right? So I wouldn't say counter trend. I would say that's a more of a reversal. Silver, I think that's I think that's what you meant by that. I would say that as a reversal rather than a counter trend. But it's just really what how people say it. I think what you meant is I guess that's what you meant is like this. You push up, breaking the top, and then this is a double top now, and then we push down. Yeah, I would take these kind of positions up, and if every other price action and different things match, right? Because to me that's a double top. That's a double top here. If there's reversal on the reversal price action on the lower time frame, right? Double top, M style pattern, reversal coming in. Yeah, I would take that. So what does a request mean on your flag? Just people requesting me to take a look at the positions in my Telegram. Some people I will always when I have a live stream, I would always ask people to reply or comment if there's any trades that they want to take a look. And if it's not on my watch list, I will put it as a request because it didn't fall on my watch list, but someone else request all of it, and I'll explain why it isn't on my watch list and so and so. It looks clean and very good, but how do you enter? Do you keep watching the chart every hour or so? Please let me know. Thanks. No, I don't. The key here is I just made a video about don't stare at our phones or things like that. Set alerts, right? Set alerts. I don't need to be on the chart all the time, right? And the market is open 24 hours a day. And you're never going to be on the chart 24 hours a day, anyways. So don't let that affect you emotionally. You can set alerts, um, you can just set entry orders, which is what I do all the time, is entry orders, right? Set stop orders. I think I never take limit orders. It's always stop orders, right? Set stop orders, set your alerts. I won't need that flag. Do you set your entry after impulse and some consolidations? Yes and no. Probably a little bit hard to explain, but you want to see confirmation from the market. So like Aussie Kiwi here, first entry I talk about in my trade recap video. So watch that if you didn't see that yet. We impulsively break out of that structure, right? We begin to form a continuation correction. We have clean swing highs and swing lows. This I saw this inverse head and shoulder pop to the upside, a little bit consolidation, set my entry order here, stop loss below this larger correction, and then see the trade takes me in. That is exactly what I do. Good trade here. I do post my watch list on Telegram, not every day because I do the streams 3 times a week. So during the streams, you're gonna get the watch list. And the other 2 days, I usually try to do a market update. Let me see if I can find one. Um, yeah, see something like this. I'll do a quick map version and then a screenshot with it or something like that. Okay, that is what I do for the quick updates. Jamoy, I feel more relaxed trading like this versus support and resistance. I used to be in my psychology, like yeah, I need to work it on, but support and resistance too reactive. Didn't fit my personality. I think that's what you're trying to say. What's the overall target price on Aussie Kiwi? First target is just at the previous top area of this correction. So first position 5.8, second position 4.5. So that's like 10 point something. But ultimately is really to see if we have enough momentum to continue higher. So we have all this correction that we pushed down. We're just around halfway through. Can we break out of that? Can we form continuation to push the price higher to the previous top? That would be nice. That would be maximize risk reward in this area. So looking forward to that. Looking to see what will happen in the upcoming days or so. Cool. So looks like no other questions. See a lot of new faces, so feel free to interact with me in my Telegram, YouTube, and all that. I love to interact with new people to talk about things. So join me on those if you guys are interested. Everything on there is presentable for everyone. So no hidden things, no hidden fees, things like that. If that's what people generally run into, I don't do any of that. So any other question, guys? If not, I will end the stream here. I will make another daily Outlook stream tomorrow, usually London or Asian or whatever. So I'll make sure I'll always put the link in my Telegram group so everyone can see that. All right. So thank you very much, guys. Will this record be up? Always. You can always see it on TradingView and YouTube if you want to rewatch it. It's always safe on both of those platforms forever. Okay. Well, on YouTube, yes. TradingView, I just start clicking it to save forever. So, but YouTube for sure. Yeah. Thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone, as well. Stay safe. Thank you. Yeah. Be safe out there as well. Um, hopefully just a quick talk. Hopefully, all this vaccine stuff will pass around through the world, and everyone will be back to normal after hopefully half a year or so, right? Of course, we all know this is all the first trial or all that vaccine stuff. Who knows if there's going to be side effects, or who knows if they're going to be enough for the first period of time. I don't know anything about that, but be safe, right? Do your part to keep the numbers down, right? So that's all I can say. I can't suggest people do whatnot, right? But you yourself, you can control that, right? So wear a mask when you go outside, right? Simple things like that. So do I have target pip count per week to make? No, that's not how I see. More it's a percentage, not pip count. Pip count is not really, to be honest, and I don't see pip count as going to be a good way to calculate your result at all, to be honest. And I'll explain this why. Because you can enter a trade and then you can just close a third of it, a fourth of it, or an eighth of it, and then the pip continue to add on. But are you making more money? No, you're not. You're reducing the original position. So from a pip perspective, sure, you enter a trade here, and then you sell here, you sell here, you sell here, you sell here, you sell here. So you make these pips, you make these pips, you make these pips, you make these pips, right? On paper, that's the pips you make, right? Everyone agree with that? But are you making more money? No, you're not making more money because you keep scaling out of your first initial position. So your entry amount gets less and less and less and less and less, right? On paper, the pip number is getting a lot, but percentage wise, profit wise, it's not, right? So what I do is a percentage of your account. So if your account is $100, let's say you want to make 8% in return per month, right? So percentage return, that's a better way, and that's what your any investment firms or businesses or any things that's where they look at is your return on investment as a percentage in relation to your account. Okay. Charts are bearish, who knows what's coming? Yeah. Exactly. Uh, I'm just kind of ranting here. Good trade here. Not necessarily. Don't quote me on any of these. Is vaccine going to help the market going up? Maybe, maybe not. Right? Who knows? Right? So, vaccine coming out. If it doesn't work well, maybe the market will crash. Right? And if the vaccines come out and then if it doesn't help at all or it has side effects, side symptoms, and then new virus come out because you're essentially a virus to beat a virus, right? Those of you guys who are more medical savvy than me, you're essentially creating another virus to kill a virus, right? So how maybe that new virus has more things that happen that can cause more things and that cause more trouble as well, right? Government printing money. I don't really want to go into those things anyways. I don't really keep about the fundamental stuff. Um, Printing money, all that stuff. I mean, I don't really want to make a judgment on any of these. I'm just looking straight up from the price condition itself, right? If any news comes out that doesn't go to that either have a positive impact or negative impact on the market, you're going to see it on the chart anyways, right? So we don't need to second guess what the news will do to predict which direction. We just need to react to what the news is doing afterwards from the price, and then we can uh, do it accordingly. Okay. If we're trading US dollars, should we always look at analyze DXY? Sure. Yes or no, to be honest. because DXY is just pretty much mirror of euro dollar, okay, 90+% or so. But sometimes the other dollar pairs will not follow dollar index, by the way, okay? Just give you a heads up from experience, they're not always doesn't have to follow dollar index, okay? So that's something you need to keep an eye on for, okay? All right, so I think that's it, guys. Almost an hour and a half. I had a good time talking to you guys. I see a lot of new faces, so make sure you, if you like what I'm doing, join me. I like the interactions. I like sharing information, knowledge, and things. So join me, interact with me. I appreciate that. Okay. If DXI is a buy, why is dollar is a sell, bro? Think about that question you just asked because they're they're reverse, right? Think about it. They're inverse related. Look at DXY here and then flip it. That's exactly euro dollar, right? Think about the actual word euro dollar. For a dollar to go up, that euro dollar has to go down, right? Good. Enjoying chatting with you guys. Good, good, good. So very happy to see you guys. Very good session actually. I feel this is a pretty good session. Did spend a little bit of time to talk more, but I like that. So um, keep up with me in other platforms. Okay, so I will see you guys next time, and be safe out there, and have a nice day. Thank you.